Alright, what's up? It's UFC Savant. UFC 299 is going down this weekend. Sean O'Malley's taking on Marlon Vera, and I can't fucking wait for this title fight and the entire card. I think I literally started the exact same intro, the last pay-per-view with the intro the exact same way, but it's so true. This card is unbelievably stacked. All the lines are really close. No one's really that confident in most of the fights on this card. You've got like a lot of questions that are going to be answered. How's Petr Yan going to do? He's on that 3-fight losing skid. Dustin Poirier, is he at the end of his career? Can he beat the up-and-comer? We finally get to see how Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera is going to play out. Of course, there was that, they had the first fight in which O'Malley got, nerve damage by a Chito Vera leg kick, and it caused drop foot on O'Malley, and we weren't able to see how that fight was going to play out. So it's really interesting. In my opinion, Vera should not even be fighting on Saturday night. He is not the rightful contender at 135. He got 50-45 by Corey Sandhagen and then beat number 10, almost 40-year-old Pedro Munhoz to get a title shot. So only reason this match is happening is because O'Malley wants to avenge his only loss in his professional career. But I can't wait to break down this card. I'm really excited. I'm going to put timestamps in the description, and like, comment, subscribe, comment if you agree or disagree with any of the picks, all the shit I'm supposed to say. Without further ado, let's get into this fucking banger. Alright. Up first on the card, we have Joanne Wood versus Maryna Moroz. Now, this really is the calm before the storm. This card's fucking phenomenal, but you kind of got to trudge through the shit to get to the really good stuff. I am, however, going to try to help you make some money on this fight. I'm going to go with the underdog in Joanne Wood to get this one done. You look at her last 3 losses. Lauren Murphy, who got a title shot off that win. Tyler Santos, who got a title shot off that win. Alexa Grasso, who beat Shevchenko and became champion. So it's not like she's losing to bad competition. She's losing to the top of the 125 women's division. Then in her last fight against Luana Carolina, she had a great performance on the feet. She has that Thai style, and she was using elbows in the clinch, knees to the body, up the middle, and she was catching Carolina a lot with the right. Now, the judges scored that a split decision. One of them gave it to Carolina. I thought it was clear as day, 2-1 for Wood. You can even argue 3-0. And I think she's going to be able to put that pace on Moroz. Now, this is actually a rematch from like a fight from 2015 in which Moroz submitted Wood in, I think, a minute. Obviously, that has nothing to do with now. I'm just throwing that out there. This also makes Moroz's second rematch from outside the UFC. Her last loss against Karine Silva was a fight from 2014. So if you guys are interested in tidbits about early WMMA careers, I guess I'm your guy. But Maryna Moroz, again, last fight out, lost by first round submission to Karine Silva. Then got completely outclassed on the feet by Jennifer Maia over 3 rounds, which I think is going to be similar to what Wood's going to do. I just think anytime they get in the clinch, Wood's going to be firing off the elbow and the knees. She's going to piece up Moroz. Moroz might try to stall out some of the beating against the cage and just hold Wood there, but I think Wood's going to get this one done by 29-28 decision. She's a dog. If you take her by decision, it'll probably be like plus 220. Straight bet that. Do not put that shit in a parlay, obviously. It's WMMA. Anything can happen, but I think it's a good pick. Moving on up the card to CJ Vergara versus Assu Almabayev. Almabayev, the minus 440 favorite. I agree with it. Almabayev has showed in his last fight out against Ode Osborne. Great submission game. Great control on top on the ground. He was able to get Ode Osborne down easily and eventually found the rear naked choke. And I think at the beginning of the fight, CJ Vergara, he is like a quick flyweight, kind of scrambly. Like, I can see it being hard for Almabayev at the beginning of the fight to keep CJ Vergara down there. I think especially in the first round, but I do think towards the end of the first round, he's going to keep fighting and just relentlessly go for takedowns and be able to get Vergara down. Vergara's going to kind of tire out from trying to get from under bottom position. Then in the second round, with Vergara being tired, Almabayev is going to be able to get him down. The attempts to get up will be less and less successful from Vergara, and Almabayev will catch Vergara trying to go for something to make a move, like catch him in a Darce choke or just some kind of choke, while Vergara makes a mistake trying to scramble. I think it's a good bet. Almabayev by submission. Really like that pick. Next up on the card, Robelis Despaigne versus Josh Parisian. Now, I have not seen anyone not pick Robelis Despaigne first round knockout, and that's what I'm going with. I think you have to. I don't give a fuck if he's fighting cans. His total fight time in his last 3 fights totals to 19 seconds. I don't care if he's fighting cans. That is impressive. And you see some people saying he's going to get fraud checked. He's fighting bums. Josh Parisian's going to grind him out to a decision. Josh Parisian is not the guy to fraud check Despaigne. Do I think Despaigne will eventually get fraud checked? 100%. Especially as he fights guys obviously further up the rankings. But Josh Parisian, his last 2 fights, lost to Martin Bade and Jamal Pogues. Despaigne has the longest reach ever in UFC history. He's 6'7". He's gonna fucking flatline Parisian. That's all there is to it. Now, he's a minus 420 favorite. Taking him by KO is probably like minus 200. I'd recommend if you're gonna bet him, put him by first round knockout in a parlay. Even that'll probably be like minus 170. Maybe a little less, but I think that's really, even that is insane value. Yeah, Despaign's gonna get this one done. He's not getting fucking fraud checked by Josh Parisian. This is a complete feeding to the wolves by the UFC. And, yeah, it's gonna be wild. I think Despaigne was like a Olympian in Taekwondo, some shit. You see the age, 35 years old, only 4-0. He's a fucking Cuban. We see Yoel Romero, how good he was old. Those Cubans don't age poorly, so gonna quit babbling. Spain's gonna get that one done. Moving up to Philipe Lins versus Jan Cutelaba. I was going back and forth on this one, but Philipe Lins in his last fight out, snooze fest decision over Maxime Grishin. Just held him up against the cage for pretty much the course of the entire 3 rounds, where Jan Cutelaba made quick work of Tanner Boser in his last fight out. Tanner Boser also has a knockout win over Philipe Lins. Now, I'm not going to do MMA math about unranked light heavyweights. Like, who gives a fuck? But Cutelaba did make it look easy, and I just think Cutelaba's a much faster guy. I don't think he's going to let Lins be able to control him anywhere, and I just think he's going to find a quick KO finish. I think both these guys' chins are somewhat suspect, but I think Cutelaba has more power and is just the quicker guy and is going to be able to find the chin quicker, so I'm going to go Cutelaba first round knockout. Next up on the card, Michel Pereira versus Michel Oleksiejczuk. Now, I wanted to take... This is a sketchy one. I like that the odds are close because that is an accurate representation of what this fight's going to be. I personally see the fight going, Pereira's going to start off like he does crazy. Just catch Oleksiejczuk a couple times over the course of the first 2 rounds, but Oleksiejczuk's gonna keep his hands up good, even when he's rocked, be able to kind of weather the storm. And when Pereira starts to slow down in the 3rd round, Oleksiejczuk's gonna piece him the fuck up. I can see him hurting Pereira bad in the 3rd round, beat the shit out of him, and then when the buzzer sounds, they fucking shake hands, and Pereira wins a 2-1 decision. But the narrative will be if that fight was any longer, Oleksiejczuk probably would have knocked him out. Yeah, the gas tank for Pereira is a little bit sketchy, but this is only his second fight at middleweight, and it is a much harder fight for Pereira. His last fight against Andre Petroski, his middleweight debut, he made easy work of him, but Oleksiejczuk, I think, is a massive step up from Andre Petroski, and yeah, this could potentially be a banger fight. I do think it goes. If the fight to go the distance is plus money, which there's a solid chance it is, because Pereira's found a couple knockouts in his UFC career, I think it's a really good bet. Fight to go the distance, because I think it will be like plus 150, something like that. I wish they would put odds out earlier in the week, but they never do. And we need to get our prediction videos up. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Pereira to get it done by decision. Look kind of bad in the third round. Moving on up the card, Pedro Munhoz versus Kyler Phillips. Now, I know it says my pick is Kyler Phillips, but I am going to be switching that one. Pedro Munhoz arguably beat the guy in his last fight out who's fighting for the belt on Saturday night. Like, I edged it to Vera 2-1, but Munhoz' output and his volume was crazy against Vera, and I didn't mind it being 2-1 going in, or 2-0 Munhoz going into that last round. And he absolutely dominated Chris Gutierrez in a fight in which he was also an underdog. Gutierrez was looking good as a prospect coming up. And Kyler Phillips, he had kind of like an uneventful, weird decision win over Ronnie Barcelos. I don't think it was a robbery at all, but like both guys had their moments in that fight. Munhoz was the much older guy, 9 years older, much smaller reach advantage, but I think he will be able to out-volume Kyler Phillips and get a decision win. I think this is a really sketchy one. Maybe better to go the distance, but it to go the distance will probably be really good odds. So I like Munhoz as a dog. Take him money line. Not bad. Next up on the card, Mateusz Gamrot versus RDA. Now, I think this is going to be a dominant decision win by Mateusz Gamrot. He's looked great in his fights. That fight against Arman Tsarukyan, the scrambles, not letting Tsarukyan get any control. Like, wild fight. RDA, he got dominated, controlled heavily by Vicente Luque in his last fight out. I don't see anywhere where RDA is going to be able to win this fight. Yeah, I don't think there's much. I just think Gamrot's going to be able to control him. Whether it's, I think Gamrot will be able to completely control RDA on the ground. I don't think either one of these guys are going to knock the other one out. And Mateusz Gamrot, I think he'll win a 30-26 decision. Like, one of the rounds, he's just going to have so much control time, they're going to have to give it a 10-8. And, yeah, that's it. Also, RDA's bouncing up and down weight classes, doesn't know where he is. I'm kind of waiting for the dude to retire at this point. This could be it. Who the hell knows? But, yeah. And it'll be a good win for Gamrot, who's looked good. Moving on up the card, Katlyn Cerminara versus Maycee Barber. Katlyn Cerminara, formerly known as Katlyn Chikagian. Apparently she got married, I think, since her last fight. Whatever, who gives a fuck, but I just didn't know that until I was looking at the card this week. But Maycee Barber, she's like in her prime, on a good win streak. She had a dog fight in her last fight against Amanda Ribas. They were slugging it out. Both were bleeding. She eventually found the TKO win. I think pretty sure she just dropped Ribas and then finished it up on the ground. I do think this fight's going to go to a decision. Again, this isn't one I want to harp on, but I see Maycee Barber winning this. I could even see it being a split decision. Barber's won a couple questionable split decisions, but I think she'll just be able to outdamage Cerminara, get the control time. Peace out. Alright, moving on to the prelim headliner. Curtis Blaydes versus Jailton Almeida. Another tough fight, but the odds are really close. I totally agree with that. I will say I am going to be going with Jailton Almeida to get this one done. Dude hasn't lost so far in the UFC. A lot of people were critiquing that win over Derek Lewis. It was a short notice Derek Lewis, and Almeida had 5 rounds to finish Lewis, and he wasn't able to get it done. But he did like 50-40 for him. Complete domination. I get it. A dude like this, Almeida, with how well he's been doing, should have made easy work of Lewis. But Lewis was hanging in there. He was surviving. On the other hand, you have Curtis Blaydes. Got knocked out brutally in his last fight against Sergey Pavlovich. And then, I don't think his wins have been as impressive as Jailton Almeida. He laid on Rosenstrike over the course of 3 rounds, won that decision. Knocked out Chris Daukaus, who's allergic to fighting black dudes. And then that like fluke leg injury over Tom Aspinall. That wasn't even a fight. And then loses to Pavlovich, where Almeida's just been dominant. His wrestlings look great. He's really quick. He's a slim dude. Yes, he weighs in at like 235. So he's 30 pounds lighter than these dudes, which I get maybe there can be a power disadvantage, but it really makes me quick. I think Almeida's going to quickly be able to bring this fight to the ground, and I think he's going to finish Curtis Blaydes with ground and pound. I could see Blaydes turning around and getting submitted, but I really like Jailton Almeida to get this one done inside the distance, so it's going to be an interesting one. I'm really, really interested to see how this plays out, but let's see. All right. Now moving up to the main card, Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. I think this is going to be fight of the night. This fight is going to go to the distance, and I think it's going to be an absolute war. It will fucking pain me to see another red next to Petr Yan's name, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Just to run it through real quick, these 4 do not tell an accurate representation of what happened. Beat the fuck out of Sterling, lost a disqualification because of an illegal knee. Beat the fuck out of Corey Sandhagen for 5 rounds. Got backpacked by Aljamain Sterling in a razor-close split decision. Lost a robbery to Sean O'Malley. I've gone back and forth on that fight. I think Petr Yan easily won that fight. Rounds 1 and 2 clear. And then dominated, completely out-cardio by Moroz in a fight that he lost 5-0. But nothing happened, which I get's insane to say, but it's like he got dominated by Moroz. It sucked to see. Song Yadong, in his last fight out against Chris Gutierrez, looked great. Dominated Gutierrez over the course of 5 rounds, but I don't think he's going to be able to level change with Yan, and I think Yan is the much more technical striker. I think Song has a slight edge in the power, but Jan's chin's granite. I don't think he'll get even drop with anything. And Jan's takedown defense, even in the fight against Moroz, he was getting dominated in. Moroz wasn't able to land shit takedown percentage-wise. He went 11 for 49 against Yan, which is insane. And I don't think Song has the wrestling capabilities of Moroz, and yeah, this is going to be a stand-up fight. There's going to be 0 ground shit, and Jan's going to out-technical. Yan will get caught up in some moments, but he's going to stay technical, keep that high guard, slam the body kicks into Song Yadong, and I think Jan's going to get a decision victory in a war. And it'll be on his 2nd title reign. Nah, I don't know if he'll ever get the belt back, but I love to see Yan go on another run, and I think he's going to get it done. I really like this minus 140 odds for Yan just on the money line. Like, I would not touch knockout. I don't think either of these guys will get knocked out, but it's going to be a fucking good fight. I'll be fucking pissed if Jan loses. God, this card is so good. Next up on the card, Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to absolutely beat the fuck out of Gilbert Burns and eventually knock him out in round 2. You watch back Jack Della Maddalena's fights, even going back before the UFC, every single strike this dude throws, it's like a perfect precision. I don't even know how to describe it. His work to the body is nasty. Body hooks, even just straights to the body. He throws nice hooks, straights right up the middle. And, yeah, Gilbert Burns, 10 years older than Jack Della Maddalena. I don't want to put too much stock into that loss he had against Bilal Muhammad. Burns, like, blew out his shoulder in the first round. We didn't really get to see a real accurate representation of how that fight would have played out. But, yeah, dominated an old man Masvidal, submitted Neil Magny. Maddalena's on a tear. I think in the first round, he's going to drop Burns. Another thing, there's a narrative I've seen on it everywhere, and it's so true. There's some video with like 200 views on YouTube, because I looked it up just to see if anyone made a video. It's called like Gilbert Burns getting dropped by jabs compilation. And he got dropped by Usman twice with a jab. One of them eventually put him out. Got dropped by Chimaev with a jab. And Jack Della Maddalena's fucking bread and butter is his jab to set up every single shot he follows up with. So I just think Maddalena's going to put him down with a jab in round 1. Really do dirty work to the body. I think he's going to 10-8 him with strikes in round 1. Then come round 2, Burns is wincing, doesn't feel good. He's going to get dropped again with a jab or a body shot. And Maddalena's going to follow up with ground and pound and put Burns out in the second round. I can't wait for this. This is another thing. Jack Della Maddalena minus 125 on the money line. Great value. Really good value, I think, to even put in a parlay. And I'd even recommend going with the JDM by knockout. Because I bet his knockout, if he's a minus 125 favorite, will be like 200 to 250. I love that. I love that shit. It would really suck if I'm giving all this praise to JDM and he just gets submitted. I think that's Burns' only method of victory, submission. I don't see it happening. I see Burns keeping it on the feet and establishing his presence early and fucking up Burns. Next up on the card, Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. Man, this is another one. And you see, I love how close the odds are on these fights, because it's gonna make winning money easier. But who knows if we're gonna win money? This fight is gonna go the distance, 100%. I don't see either of these guys knocking each other out. Kevin Holland does have a granite chin. MVP has only been knocked out one time in his career, and he was kind of going for like flashy stuff and just got caught. I think they're both gonna just stand at range and like leg kick and keep missing head kicks. It's gonna be a really, really boring decision. I am gonna go with Kevin Holland to edge it out, but I think the UFC's plan is to hope that MVP wins this and then make the Wonderboy Thompson fight karate versus karate style. But I think Kevin Holland, he's the much younger guy. I think he'll be able to spoil the UFC's party and get it done by decision. I really am not confident in this one at all. Yeah, zero confidence in this pick, honestly. This might be one you stay away from betting. I say that now, I'll be fucking betting on this one. But Fucker. It's whatever. Kevin Holland by decision. Extremely unconfident. Moving on up the card to the co-main event. Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Pains me to say it. In that last video I made about unfortunate outcomes in upcoming UFC fights, I said Dustin Poirier getting knocked out or getting finished by brutal fashion for a second time in a row, and I think it's going to happen. Dustin Poirier has never lost 2 fights in a row since his UFC debut in like 2011. God, there's lots to say. Benoit Saint-Denis, terrifying dude, French Special Forces. His last fight out against Matt Frivola, knocked him out cold with a head kick. He submitted one of the Ishmael Bonfim, and the knockout win over Thiago Moises. Brutal body shots to a finish. Like, this dude's on another level right now. He's 7 years younger, much hungrier. Dustin Poirier, he's had a taste of gold before. He was the interim champ. He's fought for the undisputed belt 2 times. Lost to Khabib, lost to Oliveira. He's made his money, 2 McGregor fights. The dude's been like a household name, even to casuals, for years. The dude's made his money. Saint-Denis, this is... I will say this. This is a massive step up in for Saint-Denis. Saint-Denis, he has a only loss in his career was to Oleksiejczuk. So the fucking dude he made his UFC debut against Dos Santos. Oleksiejczuk Dos Santos, whatever. But Saint-Denis is a 155er, and he took that fight at 170 just to get a shot in the UFC and showed insane durability. So the way I think this fight's going to play out, Dustin Poirier is going to be catching him with shots early, and Poirier is going to look good. Then at the end of the first round, Saint-Denis is going to land a takedown, get Poirier to the ground, kind of ground and pound him. Poirier will be doing good trying to defend submissions, because I think Saint-Denis is going to want to establish a good ground presence early on, because I do think he has a better submission game, offensive submission game than Dustin. But not be able to get it in the first round, but beat up Poirier towards the end. Then in the second round, back Poirier up against the cage, hit him with nasty body shots, and I think Poirier's just going to get caught with one that's going to, like a flash knockout, bounce his head off the canvas, and the fight's going to be over. Poirier's going to be like sitting there in that, you know, that pose he had when he got submitted against Oliveira, and the pose when he got submitted against Nurmagomedov. It became a meme. He's like sitting up against the cage. It's going to be one of those. And I do think Dustin Poirier is going to take the gloves off this weekend. I hate to say it, but this is like a passing of the torch type thing. He's taking this one to see if he can still beat the younger competition. When he gets finished, I think it's going to be wraps. It pains me to say I don't want to see Poirier. I would love to see it be like a war. I would love to see Poirier win this fight and finish this French fuck, but I don't think he's gonna. It is gonna be a crazy fight for what it lasts, though. So yeah, Saint-Denis, second round. I think he's gonna flash knock out Poirier against the cage after a flurry of body to head shots. Moving on to the main event of the evening, Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera 2. The rematch, of course, Chito Vera in their first fight out kicked Sean O'Malley's perennial nerve, which caused drop foot. Sean O'Malley ended up falling to the ground, wasn't able to get up, and Marlon Vera finished it with brutal elbows to the face. I don't even think O'Malley was out when that was called, but the ref saw that O'Malley was really hurt and wouldn't have been able to continue anyway. Since then, O'Malley, crazy rise up the rankings again. He beat Petr Yan in a very close decision, but knocked Sterling the fuck out. Crazy to see Sterling wasn't able to even get takedowns on him. Chito Vera shouldn't even... Chito Vera doesn't deserve this, and he should not be fighting on Saturday night. It should be Merab after Merab beat Jan. But that Merab fought Cejudo a few weeks ago, so that's out of the picture. And then, if not, it should have been Sandhagen. But Marlon Vera, 50-45, dominated by Corey Sandhagen in a split decision, which is one of the worst scorecards I've ever seen in my life. Then won a close decision to Pedro Munhoz, and he's getting a title shot. Vera was number 6 when he fought Munhoz, and Munhoz was number 10. He's beating a 37-year-old number 10 contender who's like 2-5 in his last 7 or something. I don't think Vera should be here. I think O'Malley's going to show that Vera shouldn't be here. O'Malley's just going to beat the fuck out of him over the course of 5 rounds to a decision. You see some people talk about like Vera's power. Vera knocked out Frankie Edgar and Dominic Cruz both with head kicks. He's not putting guys out with his hands. O'Malley's going to be the longer guy, be able to keep Vera at range. In Vera's last fight, he was having success in the pocket against Munhoz. He's not going to be able to get in the pocket against O'Malley. O'Malley's going to be able to run around the cage. And, yeah, I think O'Malley's going to 50-45 Vera. Maybe even 50-44. We've never seen Vera, like, with visible damage. I could see in the 4th or 5th round, after kind of keeping calm the first couple rounds so he doesn't use up all his gas, O'Malley just putting it on him and, like, 10-8ing him standing in one of the rounds. Like, landing spinning back kicks, and Vera won't get rocked or get dropped, but he will get beaten up. I would say one of the craziest outcomes of the night will be if O'Malley finds the knockout finish over Vera, because if he does, the dude is a fucking problem. But yeah, I'm going Sean O'Malley, 50-45, 50-44 decision, getting his hand raised and new, and then he'll finally fight a rightful contender in Merab, and order will be restored in the rightful contender at 135. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff I'm supposed to say. If you agree or disagree on a take, comment. Yeah, all the stuff I'm supposed to say. Thanks for watching. I'm fucking pumped for this card. Let's fucking go.